Good morning, everybody. I'm Robert Scheer, and this is your 6 AM Wake Up. Therapists talk about the fact that addiction is a disease of self-centeredness. It's a self-centeredness that's so acute that it's painful and that you'll do almost anything to relieve it. I don't really subscribe to that. Unfortunately, I think all human beings are to some degree self-centered. It's very difficult to not be thinking about yourself. I think we're neurologically wired that way. It's that old adage that I know I'm not the most important person, but I'm all I can think about. But sometimes when my self-centeredness gets really bad, my spiritual condition starts to suffer. My meeting attendance drops. I get more cynical. I start to feel that people are talking about minor issues at meetings, their car broke down, things of that nature. And I don't find the meetings, 12-step recovery meetings, to be very spiritually uplifting. So my sponsor suggested that I attend a different meeting that I haven't been to. And I did that. And there were really three women that spoke at this meeting. And I just wanted to share about that because it's very compelling. And it reminded me of a lot of important things. So the first woman sort of had the lead, and she was sharing her life story. She talked about the fact that she had two children when she was young, had dropped out of school. She was in active addiction. The kids eventually were taken by social services for a period of time. Later in life, after many years of recovery, she got pregnant again. And she was really debating whether to have that child or to abort it. She ultimately decided to have it. And then she shared about the fact that a few years after having that child, her father, who she adored, recently died of a heart attack, or suddenly died of a heart attack, I should say. And that was a devastating blow to her. But that was just the beginning. Within a few months, she got news that her brother had died of an overdose. And then a few weeks after that, she got news that the oldest son had been murdered. And she commented that it was the son that she almost aborted that got her through this tragedy. The next woman responding or thinking about this woman's comments shared that when she was in recovery early, she too got pregnant and she wanted to abort the child. The father of the child was adamant about the abortion. He did not want to have the child. In fact, she said he hated me and I hated him. But she chose to have the child, and the father did show up. And it was a very raw comment when she said we hated each other. But they stayed together because of the pregnancy. He just kept showing up and I just kept showing up. They were both in recovery. And over time, they ended up having two more kids, and they developed a wonderful marriage, a wonderful long-term loving relationship. Unfortunately, he just died, and she shared that. The third woman that got up and spoke was the hardest for me to hear. She too was responding to the other women, and she was sobbing. She was crying. It was hard for her to even talk. She explained that yesterday she was at the doctor's and she had confirmed her 11-year-old daughter's diagnosis. The daughter had been sick on and off for most of her life, but yesterday the chronic condition was confirmed, and she had to meet with her daughter and explain that, no, and this is her quote, unlike your siblings, you will never be able to run and play like the other children. She had to face that and tell her daughter that. She had to tell her daughter, this is something you're just going to have to deal with. I often think of this expression, there but for the grace of God. And when I think of those three women, that was my thought. We all think we have all these issues and troubles. We get focused on our own self, all the concerns that we have, and we fail to look at the big picture. But these women's experiences really resonated with me. And so I wanted to share that with you in the hopes that it would resonate with you and uplift you, not make you sad, but uplift you make you feel how fortunate you are to have the lives that you have. Thanks for listening to my thoughts for the day.